I saw everything. The connection between two worlds. About a century ago, humans were defeated by the Vulgus. Invaders from the other world. Then came the Colossi, who destroyed everything. Humans resisted until they could no longer. Then they found hope. They were gifted the forgotten ancestors' power. Finally, they could fight with newfound strength. But another threat had emerged. Karel, the new leader of the Vulgus. His dark ambitions are driving both worlds to the brink of collapse. We must fight back. With the ancestors' power bestowed upon us. Descendant, can you hear me? I've been waiting for you.
According to the investigative core, the Ironheart is in the ruins. The assignment is simple. Bunny will collect it, while one of you protects her. So, who is going to take this on?
There's no ironheart on that side either.
And this is the only place left.
Let's get this over with. The Architect Ruins. It took so many soldiers to find this place. Please let the Ironheart be in here somewhere.
I hope it's here too, Bunny. I'd like to give Albion some good news.
Finding the Ironheart is important, but so is retrieving it. The Vulgus also have their sights set on these ruins.
Don't worry about that, Alpha. Compared to me, the Vulgus are as slow as turtles.
I'll blow up anyone who comes for you, Bunny.
Haha! Good to know you have my back.
Finally here. This is a space where your unconscious takes physical form. I have been waiting for you since the beginning. I am your guide. I was created. To guide the Descendants to the Ironheart. This is the connection procedure, Descendant. Initializing process to access your consciousness. We both need the Ironheart. I can help humanity. Descendant.
The hell? What just happened? Who was that?
Bunny, did you see the guide too?
Yeah, I saw it. It took me to a weird place. Hold on. It's the Vulgus. They found their way here.
Let's get out of here! Hurry!
I seriously have no idea what's going on. Target secured. I'm moving out. You need to stay alive. We have a lot to talk about.
Oh, don't worry about me. Kurl touched the heart. This triggers some kind of anomaly.
everything failed.
Damn it! I never expected Corell to show up in person after everything we've gone through to find that Ironheart. If we don't find the other two Ironhearts before he does, the dimensional wall will be in danger.
Don't lose hope, HQ. We've made contact with a guide. She's going to help us.
To those descendants who have connected to me, thank you for answering my call. This is Albion, the last bastion of humanity. Many lives have been laid before the Ironheart. I wish to help humanity. My system can locate the Ironheart. However, my functions were damaged after I was separated from it. If I can access the data left by my creators, the ancestors, I should be able to find a way to restore my system. I appeal to all descendants who can hear my voice. Please help me to restore my system. Take me to the ancestors' facility.
I didn't expect you to be speaking to the guide. I thought you were headed straight to HQ. Well, first off, well done on the mission. It was a difficult one. Corell showing up in person, even I was concerned. Since your operation, a strange phenomenon has affected Descendants. When you said there was hope, were you talking about the guide? To be honest, I suspect that the guide is either a new Vulgus weapon or a new enemy. It's clever claiming to be able to find the Ironheart for us. Who wouldn't want to believe that, if they're desperate enough? That is how traps are laid. Everything has a price. My staff officers, however, seem to have a different opinion. Enzo and Nell have proposed verifying the guide's credibility by fulfilling her requests. And the truth is, we currently lack any leads on the Ironheart. Enzo and Nell have determined that if the guide can close the gaps in our knowledge, it will be worth it. Luckily, there is an Ancestors facility within the territory we occupy. We plan on making contact with the guide there. Descendant, this is your next mission. I would like you and Bunny to bring the guide to the Ancestors facility in Kingston. Deploying the Descendants who have been in closest contact with the Ironheart is our best bet. Bunny, I know you're recovering from your injuries, but I'm sure you understand the importance of this. I'll order the Investigative Corps to provide support. I hope we see some results, whatever the outcome may be.
Welcome, Descendant. Please, do not be alarmed. My appearance has been configured to facilitate communication. I am linked to the Arcade of Descendants. I can appear wherever you may be. But I am incomplete. At present, only you, Descendant, can see or hear me. I need you to help me fully restore my system. Only then can I help humanity.
Ah, there you are. I'm Marcus from the Investigative Corps. I have orders from HQ to escort you, Descendant. This way, please. Thank you for all your hard work during the operation to retrieve the Ironheart. The results of that operation were disappointing, but we'll keep looking for other ruins. The Investigative Corps will always support the Descendants. Speaking of which, we heard you're heading to the Ancestors facility in this area. The facility was once used as a research center by the Magisters, before it was abandoned. I never thought we'd be going back there again. It's been deserted for a long time. Anyway, let me take you to the facility. Sit tight. Security Corps, this is Lieutenant Marcus from the Investigative Corps. We have orders from HQ to open the gate to the Ancestors facility. Security Corps, do you copy? This is Lieutenant Marcus from the Investigative Corps. What's going on?
Support! This is Security Corps. We're under attack from the Vulcans. We need support!
Security Corps, respond! Security Corps! Damn it! Descendant, it looks like the Vulgus have arrived. Comms are already down. Use the emergency communicator to contact HQ while I try to get a handle on the situation.
This doesn't feel good. It seems like Alpha doesn't trust the guide at all. The RK from the guide felt familiar. That makes me think she's on our side. Oh, what if Alpha can't link to the guide because of RK? He doesn't use his RK abilities much these days. Who knows? Let's focus on the operation for now. I'll go scout every nook and cranny in Kingston. And I'll look for that annoying enemy commander as well. I'll leave the Vulgus siege to you. They're starting to spread out like they own the place. All right, catch you later. Don't push yourself too hard.
Just how much do you plan to rely on that guide?
You prefer to keep sending in the Investigative Corps? How much time have we wasted searching for the Ironhearts without any leads? Alpha, this is the best opportunity we've had in a century.
Or it could be a trap. The Descendants are Albion's only hope, and now it's like they have a parasite attached to their minds.
This way, Descendant. It seems HQ is faltering. I understand. After all, HQ shoulders the burden of protecting humanity. It is difficult for the fate of humanity to be placed into the hands of something only a few can see. But Descendant, my purpose is the same as yours. Trust me. Do this, and you will retrieve the Ironheart.
Did you hear, Alpha? Time to swap ships, partner. To be honest, I wanted to be the one to capture the Vulgus commander. How infuriating. The operation to retrieve the Ironheart failed, and I got injured. Ugh! That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I should go swap out my weapons and upgrade my modules if I don't want to be defeated again. Guess I'll head back first. Good luck! See you in Albion!
Descendant, thanks to you the data was located, and I was able to restore my functions. Should my system be damaged again, bringing me into contact with another Ironheart is a fail-safe restoration method. However, should this prove to be impossible, there is an emergency restoration protocol put in place by the ancestors. By collecting particle elements from where the Ironheart was excavated, a similar contact environment can be created. This protocol can also be applied should the Ironheart be damaged. The Vulgus wanted to secure the ancestors' data to obtain this information. When I was separated from the Ironheart that the Vulgus seized was also damaged. The void erosions in the ruins likely occurred due to this damage. And Descendant, there is something else that concerns me. How did the Vulgus know that the Ancestors' facility had this information? The only entities that I can think of who would consider using the system restoration protocol are guides and ancestors. Unless there is an ancestor among the Vulgus. Wait. Descendant, I can sense vibrations. They feel very similar to a void erosion. Threatening.
Void dimension link detected. The Colossus is approaching. I repeat, void dimension link detected. The Colossus is approaching.
Descendant, ever since Corral caused the void erosion with the Ironheart, the Colossi have become more active. According to my calculations, the expected point of arrival for this Colossus is at the Kingston border. The classification type is Gravewalker, just like the one you encountered at the ruins. That specimen was weaker due to the unexpected nature of the dimensional link. But things will be different this time. If this Colossus manages to enter Ingress, Kingston may be lost to us forever. We must intercept it in the Void Dimension before that happens. I will send you to the Void Dimension once you have finished your battle preparations. May the intercept be successful, Descendant. Good work, Descendant. The Colossus was stronger than average, and you still achieved a resounding victory. However, as long as the dimensional wall remains open, the invasion of the Colossi will never end. Until the dimensional wall is closed, humankind will have no choice but to live with the fear of the Colossi. Descendant, securing the Ironheart and closing the dimensional wall, it isn't just to defeat the Vulgus. If we cannot stop the invasion of Ingress by the Colossi, there will be no hope for humanity. Remember your calling. I will focus more attention on monitoring the Void Dimension.
Descendant, using the Ancestors' data, the Guide claims to have discovered a zone where an Ironheart has been excavated. After undergoing emergency restoration protocols at that location, the Guide should be able to track the Ironheart. The problem is, the Ironheart excavation site is near a Vulgus munitions factory. It's a weapons production site where cyborg Vulgus, the Legion of Immortality, are manufactured. Sharon and the Colon Special Forces along with Jeremy have been deployed there as the front line, and a bridgehead has been secured. I've assigned you to this operation as well. Sharon has exceptional infiltration skills, but I need someone who can lead the battle. Your mission is to infiltrate the Ironheart excavation site and restore the Guide's system. I still have my doubts about the Guide. Even for this operation, I'm sending you into the Lion's Den on the strength of her words. But after witnessing the Intercept battle, I've made up my mind. We must find the Ironheart and close the dimensional wall as soon as possible. Failure to do so would leave the remnants of humankind to be trampled by the Colossi, even if we win the war against the Vulgus. So, I have decided to put my trust in the strategic value of the Guide. For now. Descendant, I leave this operation in your hands. The fate of humanity rests on your shoulders.
You're here. Welcome to the Vulgus Munitions Factory. You've made quite the impression at Kingston. So much so, I was tempted to recruit you for Colon. But then again, the enemy isn't exactly a pushover. However, now that we have the Guide as a strategic asset, I'm sure the trajectory of this war will change drastically. Shall we get started? Based on the coordinates provided by the Guide, the Ironheart excavation site is near the enemy's industrial zone. Unfortunately, the exact location needs to be confirmed in person. The coordinates are based on data from the time of the ancestors, and there's a high probability that the topography today will look a little different. I'll do recon around the industrial zone. While I'm doing that, your mission is to create a diversion to draw the enemy's eyes away from me. Even though I have active camouflage, things will be much easier if you can hold the enemy's attention. I'll tell Jeremy to stay behind and provide operational support. Jeremy seems to be unable to link with the Guide, so he won't be much use in finding the excavation site. He'll be better deployed using his RK teleportation abilities as support for your diversion operation. Let's get moving. We need to restore the Guide system as soon as possible.
Guide! That's all everybody talks about these days. Since when did the higher-ups at Albion conduct operations based on the word of a spirit? Not to mention, excluding an excellent descendant like myself from this operation, everything's clearly going very well. Hey, you think it's funny I can't link with the Guide? Alright then, let's consider which descendants aren't able to link with the Guide right now. Let's see. It's only me and Alpha, yes? Looks to me like the commander of Albion and the strongest descendant are the only ones who are still sane. If I were you, I'd think carefully about why you've been designated as a bait, and I'm going to do things my way. Don't even think about tagging along. Huh. Do you really think you can even attempt to follow me? With my RK abilities?
Descendant, we have an urgent report on Sharon. Her current position is near the Vulgus Munitions Factory. Thanks to your diversionary tactics, she was able to reach the target safely, but the Vulgus have appeared. This is the sitrep recorded by Sharon's Deceive.
Operating RK tracking matrix. Type retrofitted active camouflage detected. Probability of zone infiltration high. Ironheart excavation site status. Quarantine at the highest level of security. Terminate the descendant on site. Terminate.
This cyborg Vulgus, Edelik, is a commando-level model specializing in defense missions. It's armed with RK tracking functions. And it seems the Vulgus already know about the Ironheart excavation site. I was told that the Ancestors' data was tightly guarded at Kingston. If the Vulgus have gained access to it, however, then this rigorous level of security makes sense. For the moment, Sharon has requested an attack on the repository's core facility to lure the Vulgus commander. Once the Vulgus have vacated the factory, she intends to try and infiltrate it again. Descendant, you and Jeremy are to launch an attack on the repository.
Descendant, I am at a loss for words. The Ancestors' data that the Vulgus obtained in Kingston was formatted in such a way that it could not be fully viewed until all of the data packets were combined. The Vulgus managed to transmit around 90% of the data. Defeating their commander prevented them from transmitting the remaining 10%. But they were able to reconstruct the missing 10% themselves and read all of the data. How was that possible? I need to analyze this. Descendant, you need to continue your search for the Ironheart excavation site. If the Vulgus enter it first, they may destroy the entire site after they find what they want. We must hurry.
I'm alive, thanks to you. And you even found time to attack the Vulgus Kuiper facility. I've really gotta hand it to you. Oh yeah, how did I manage to get the slip on Ederlich? He retreated as soon as the battle at the mining site was over and headed toward a facility. It looked like he'd planned to do so from the beginning. I wondered what he was up to, but he actually did us a favor in the end. I think the Ironheart excavation site is underneath that facility. A pretty hastily built structure? Check. Multiple security devices guarding the entrance? Check. Commander-level Vulgus disappearing inside? You can see how it all adds up, right? I need to assign missions to all operatives to shut down the facility's multiple security devices. It'll require specific procedures, but I've had experience in dismantling many of these types of devices. Let's move. We need to get in there before the Vulgus can do anything to the excavation site.
It seems as if all of you have forgotten, so I'll repeat myself one more time, since they're here too. It looks like it'll be a guide-related mission from this point on, which means I can't have anything to do with it, right? You're the one who told me I should be in a supporting role, Sharon. Yeah? Since I can't connect to the guide. Report that to HQ however you like. It's not like they have a cell that can hold me, do they? Nah. Maybe I will sit in a cell and get some rest. It's been a while. Last time I was there, it was really fun. I'm not sure who blabbed about my secret operation, but had it been carried out, not only would we have the Ironheart, but Corell's heart as well. I guess that's just my little walk down memory lane. Have fun with your imaginary friend. Peace!
Descendant, although it was not my intention, there seems to be a misunderstanding with Jeremy. I do not choose who I am linked with. The process follows strict directives woven into RK by the ancestors. I have no knowledge of the details of these directives, nor am I capable of ignoring them. If I were able to alter those directives, would I have been able to resolve this misunderstanding with Jeremy? Could I ease Alpha's suspicions? The human mind is difficult to comprehend. It feels like a mass of powerful energy surrounded by a resilient defense mechanism, almost like an Ironheart. I apologize for occupying your time before an important operation. I will focus on the emergency restoration protocol and remain on standby. I hope I can bring results that reflect the level of effort you have put into this operation.
The void corrosion has encroached upon my legion.
That is because of an unknown error. It will be fixed momentarily. Complete. The security threat has been neutralized. I have completed all preparations as you commanded.
Begin.
The Legion will be reborn through the Ironheart.
Rise, my warriors! Give your lives for Clipper! To our enemy! vanguard for me, Al-Zaruk. I will stand at the vanguard of the Legion. Al-Zaruk submits to Lord Karel's command. Transport the Ironheart to my fortress. Initiate the data inversion immediately.
My Ironheart detection system has a scanning function which uses Arcade to detect certain environmental factors. Within zones where Arcade can be detected, my system can track the Ironheart through its unique pulse, particles, and energy. The tracking range and accuracy depends on where Arcade particles are distributed across Ingress. At present, considering the operational zones where Descendants are deployed, approximately 35% of Ingress can be covered. I have just detected Ironheart particles at Sharon's location, which is important. There is clearly something of interest at the Vulgus munitions factory. By using my detection system Descendant, I can find traces of the Ironheart through Descendants who have been deployed throughout Ingress. However, the Vulgus called Eamon, the one who accessed the quantum monolith, gained a great deal of relevant information after repairing the Ironheart. It seems the theft of the Ancestors' data was also led by Eamon. Even though he is a Vulgus, he possesses a high level of understanding of the Ancestors' technology. However, a Vulgus is only a Vulgus. They cannot defeat a direct descendant of the Ancestors. Use me to find the Ironheart Descendant. I will assist humankind from this moment forward.
Descendant, a quick word before the briefing. You seem to be a little too preoccupied with your AI friend at the moment. As your commander, I'm concerned that you're prioritizing the guide over the operation report. The guide is only a strategic tool. I tolerate her under the condition she does not cross a line, but I don't consider her to be one of us. She is essentially data, and data can be manipulated by external factors, or even by itself. We should never see it as being at the same level as those of us who have fought together against the enemy, and built our trust in each other in the process. Keep that in mind, and you'll be the best teammate anyone could ask for. That being said, this operation was expertly handled. I trust you to keep up the good fight, Descendant. As you may be aware, the guide has detected Ironheart particles at Sharon's location. The location is inside the Vulgus military factory. Sharon and the Colon Special Forces have been conducting stealth reconnaissance, but time is running out. Once you've completed preparations, join Sharon and look for traces of the Ironheart. We've kept our end of the bargain. Now it's the guide's turn to prove her worth.
Sorry, I wasn't able to help you at the excavation site. To be honest, I'm not sure if my functions, my skills, are at full capacity. It takes a huge amount of RK to maintain the Kuiper retroreflective active camouflage. It feels like my prosthesis and I are both slowly reaching our limits. But if the Ironheart is within our reach, I have to give it my all, even if it breaks me. The guide said that Ironheart particles are the fundamental clues we need to track it. They're kind of like footprints that the Ironheart leaves behind, wherever it goes. I compared the location of these footprints to the recon intel. We should find more conclusive data as we continue to follow the traces. I'll send the details of the zone you'll need to cover to your receive. The remaining zones will be covered by Colon operatives.
Descendant, I can detect both Ironheart particles and its pulse in this zone. It keeps moving. If you and Sharon can widen the range of RK, I can obtain more accurate information. Please help me. Also, my system has been more inconvenienced than I expected, I believe that once it was restored, I would be able to locate the Ironhearts wherever they may be in Ingress. However, it may be that my system has yet to be completely restored. As I was created for the Ironheart, I assumed my performance would not be this lackluster. In order to achieve my goal, our goal, my performance will need to improve. Descendant, I have pinpointed the location where all of the Ironheart traces converge. It is hidden within the facility of the Legion of Immortality. I can detect a continuous Ironheart pulse and particles, as well as a small amount of energy from this place, and they seem to be moving. I recommend we investigate this place, Descendant. I'll need you to lend me your strength.
Excellent work, Descendant. This operation has yielded many results, both positive and negative. Firstly, all of HQ is encouraged by the possibilities presented by the guide. Although we were unsuccessful in our retrieval of the Ironheart, thanks to the guide's tracking function, we uncovered the Vulgus restricted zone and Alzarok. This proves the guide's tracking system exists and is operational. However, the ingenuity that the Vulgus demonstrated with their use of the Ironheart was alarming. So much so that the Magisters requested an emergency meeting with Alpha. In particular, the inversion of the Ironheart ordered by Corral is something we must understand, no matter the cost. From this point forward, HQ plans to adopt the guide's tracking functionality and the various other information sources they offer as official operational elements. The Descendants will soon be deployed throughout Ingress. Use the guide to track the Ironheart and proceed with the mission to investigate the inversion procedure. Humanity's full-scale counterattack has officially begun. However, I know you have just completed a difficult mission. Until the official deployment order is given, please go ahead with whatever preparations you need to make. The Magisters have promised their full commitment to support research efforts, so this is the perfect opportunity to request anything you need from an ace. Before you go, Descendant, I have a personal request. Can you retrieve the Alzarok autopsy report from Jeremy? The report was intended for delivery to the Magisters. Jeremy requested a brief look at it, and I haven't heard from him since. I understand things are strained between you and Jeremy due to the recent operation, but I hope you'll do this anyway.
What the? You're still alive? I was just reading the report on Alzarok and thinking, wouldn't it be great if he, killed you? Anyway, looks like he got to experience something interesting at least. A Vulgus redesigned by the Ironheart. Wow. Now, that's an area that fascinates me. If I knew you'd be seeing that, I would have stuck with the operation instead of dropping out. And I wouldn't have been slapped by Alpha. Anyway, why are you here? I'm in a bad enough mood already after Sharon and her minion drop by to give me a piece of their minds? What? Nell wants the report? Ah, so you're her gopher. You really are something. You can take it and buzz off. You probably don't have time to argue with me anyway. Sharon mentioned earlier that the guide isn't in the best shape. All these so-called grown-ups having fun with their imaginary friend. Oh, get lost! You're annoying me!
Descendant, something has altered the properties of the Ironheart I was connected to. As soon as we returned to Albion, I leapt between the arcade of different Descendants in order to find Ironheart traces. I discovered traces in the desert and forest areas, and at that moment, I felt great pain. In human terms, it felt like my skin was peeling off and my flesh was melting. Descendant, I suspect this phenomenon is caused by an inversion process. If Corell and Eamon had enough time after moving the Ironheart, they may have managed to perform it. However, aside from this pain, I was unable to obtain any further information. For the properties of the Ironheart to change, a tremendous amount of energy would have to be released.
Void dimension link detected. Colossus approaching. I repeat, void dimension link detected. Colossus approaching.
Descendant, a Colossus has appeared. This Colossus, is it merely coincidence? Can this truly be unrelated to the Ironheart inversion? The ancestors always removed the environmental value of chance from all variables. They believed all things had a cause and an effect. My thoughts are all muddled. It would be best to focus on the Colossus for now, Descendant. As for the inversion, I will investigate.
Descendant, the Colossi are discerning ingress through an incomprehensible pattern. Although the expected time of arrival for the Colossus is unknown, the fact that a stunning beauty is drawn here alarms me. Stunning beauty is a Colossus which is insensitive to energy. Even during the apocalypse, only a few of them are recorded to have appeared in Ingress. But now, suddenly, one is making its way to Ingress. This is not a situation to be taken lightly. Descendant, I'll send you to the Void Dimension once you have finished battle preparations. I hope the intercept is successful. Descendant, you have been successful. We live in uncertain times, but thankfully the skills of the Descendants remain stable and unchanged. Even if using the word stable in our current situation is embarrassingly ironic. The dimensional wall is currently in the worst state it has ever been. Before now, it was almost unheard of for an energy-insensitive Colossus like Stunning Beauty to be able to find its way here. We must find the Ironheart and connect it to the Prime Hands as soon as possible. Closing the dimensional wall is the only way we can achieve true victory over the Colossi.
Sorry, I know you probably wanted some rest after taking out that Colossus. Anyway, like I said over comms, we've discovered Ironheart traces in Vespers. I had business to attend to with the Order of Truth, so I was hunting down some Vulgus there. Suddenly, the guide appeared, claiming she felt the pulse of an Ironheart in the area, and then simultaneously in multiple areas. According to the guide, these multiple signals weren't byproducts of the Ironheart like Alzarok was. Comparing it with the data we have now, there really seems to be a difference. Now, well, it's obvious, isn't it? We have no other choice but to check every single location she's detected. When I came back to HQ to report on my operation, they told me to take reinforcements, and I chose you. Jeremy makes me very uncomfortable, but I have no trouble trusting you. So, you in? I'll take your silence as consent. I knew you'd accept, even if you didn't actually say it. We'll head to the Vespers outpost once you're ready. It'll give Dr. Glay time to join us.
We've received operation details. The Ironheart pulse has supposedly been detected in this area, but it's impossible to triangulate since it's dispersed in several directions.
That's correct, Glay. I can feel it clearly, but it's hard for me to pinpoint its exact position. However, I can confirm it is in this zone.
We were deployed here to find one thing, and now we also have to find the Ironheart. We'll have to look under every rock in Vespers.
Freyna and I were sent here to look for a group of Vulgus, who have stolen RK serum from Jaber and some other Descendants. Freyna, Sharon, even I've already had my RK serum stolen by them once. Things will only get worse if we let them take any more of it.
Those bastards. They satisfy their own desires by taking everything we humans have. They have to be stopped.
If the Ironheart is underground, then it makes sense that we're detecting the pulse in multiple locations. Not only is 55% of the surface of Vespers composed of slickinside, but this zone has a high distribution of strange-looking rocks. It's also one of the few zones where there are Ancestors' ruins on the surface, and most of the Ancestors' ruins are built out of slickinside. That's why it's difficult to pinpoint the exact point of origin of the pulses. The characteristics of slickinside make it easier for pulses to pass through it, which means there's a higher probability of pulses being detected simultaneously from multiple directions.
When I analyze the strata, there are spaces that feel empty to me. They are most likely where the ancestors' ruins can be found. All entrances to these spaces emit pulses of similar intensity. However, you will need to confirm in person whether these places are the correct paths to lead us to the Ironheart.
In that case, we'll need to check all the places detected by the guide. There's no way the Vulgus didn't prepare for this.
All right, let's spread out and find the entrance that leads underground. That'll split the enemy's attention, so it's a good tactical approach as well. This place has been mentioned in records throughout history. And as the name suggests, these are the ruins. Turns out this is where the greatest recorded number of ancestors gathered. Investigation by the excavation team and analysis by the magisters uncovered records mentioning the breakout of civil war. The ruins are evidence, remnants of this war. We don't yet know why the civil war happened. Albion collapsed as a result of the war, and this is the only surviving record.
Given the Ironheart is here, that may have been a factor behind the outbreak of any civil war. Past or present, the Ironheart definitely has the capability to turn the fate of Ingress upside down. That hasn't changed. There were bound to be conflicts.
This is the first I've heard of this civil war. Frena's theory is quite interesting. The Ironheart in Ingress. It could be powerful and dangerous enough to turn the fate of everything in existence upside down.
Glay, I know you're a medical doctor. Do you have doctorates in history and geology as well?
I just wanted to be able to explain anything my daughter was curious about. To be the person who could answer any questions she asked.
Sounds like you'll have a lot to talk about once she returns. You must have experienced and learned countless things during the time she's been away.
I have so much to tell her, we'll probably stay up all night. Anyway, we should hurry. Guide, can you do an in-depth analysis of the ruins, please? There must be an entrance somewhere.
You're here. It's a good thing I took this side. Neither you nor Glay would have lasted. Let's go find this entrance. Ugh, I thought I crushed the Order. They've just regrouped. They're so horrible and dirty and disgusting. There seems to be no end to them.
Frena, calm down. Your heart rate is increasing. It could trigger a traumatic episode.
We don't have any sedatives, so if you start having seizures, we'll have to send you back to Albion.
All right, I get it. I'll calm down. Don't get your panties in a bunch. It's not enough for me to black out.
Glay, I don't think we should joke about it.
You sound just like Jin. Adorable. Thank you for your hard work. Don't worry, I know how capable you are.
I heard you worked on my arcane neutralizer. I'm sure it'll be effective against the toxin again.
You can trust me. To be honest, I tested it on myself at the clinical trial stage. I'm fine, so as Descendants, you definitely will be.
What did you just say, Kate? That neutralizer was made from the Order's toxin. Do you know how dangerous that was? Do I have to lose you too?
Glay, I'm also part of Albion headquarters. I'm one of many people working for Albion and all of humanity. The Descendants shouldn't be the only ones ready to sacrifice themselves. I'm ready to do my part. Let's help each other.
We've confirmed the transmitted data. There's a vault where the ancestors kept the Ironheart. We can use this to our advantage. The Vulgus will need time to crack open the vault. Enzo, send the sample of the ancestors' remains received from the guide to Anais and tell her to hurry. We need to analyze the DNA and activate the biometric authentication before the Vulgus do. And to do that, we need to increase our combat forces in the field. I'll send any off-duty Descendants, rendezvous with them at the outpost, and proceed with the operation.
I only picked up bits and pieces earlier. I didn't realize it was such an emergency. An Ironheart. right in front of us. Whew. The place will be crawling with Corell's minions, but don't worry. I can take this opportunity to show you what an awesome Descendant I am. I'm curious what Guide's reaction will be after I carry this entire operation. Let me know, will ya? Alrighty, shall we get this show started? I'll use my incredible teleportation skills to scout all of the underground spaces.
First of all, this is only a theory for now. I must review the enemy's data before I can be certain. I have some ideas on why the enemy is collecting organic matter, and I have reached a hypothetical conclusion. The most probable reason is that their DNA analysis is still incomplete, and they're looking for materials to use as part of it.
In order to extract pure DNA from something, you need a refining process to remove all the other materials mixed in.
And once refinement has been completed, you will still need to perform an amplification process. This process requires certain enzymes.
So what you're saying, Guide, is that the Vulgus are extracting the enzymes they need from the giant tree.
In a way, yes. As the giant tree has existed since the time of the ancestors, it will have accumulated a variety of organic matter. It may store materials which are difficult to find even now. The Vulgus may have predicted this. It is likely that they intend to extract all of the remaining organic matter left in the giant tree in order to find the enzymes required for amplification.
If we can seize what they extract and send it to Albion, we can expedite our research process.
I guess we have our answer then. Let's hurry. It's our turn to take something from them. Let's make them pay for messing with us.
What are you doing? Sightseeing? This operation is a waste of time, a complete waste. You keep telling me I need to cooperate, but I think you guys are the uncooperative ones.
Jeremy, unless your receive is having issues, there is no way you didn't know we were in the middle of an operation. It's prohibited for Descendants to deactivate their receives during an operation. If you manually deactivated your receive link, I think that would make your attitude toward the operation uncooperative.
I'd watch what you're saying, Glay. I carried out my side of the operation perfectly. I scouted the entire area thoroughly. I've even confirmed that the Ancestors' ruins are in the deepest part of Vespers. How dare you question my attitude? God, I don't know why Alpha looks out for you guys so much. Maybe he feels sorry for you being possessed by the ghost or guide or whatever. If it's because he pities you, well, I guess normal me has no choice but to be understanding. I'll distract the enemy's backlines just for you pitiful lot. You can follow me and push through. You three, no, is it four? Anyway, you're all deployed, so let's cooperate and get this operation done without any mistakes. Also, I've been assigned to retrieve the Ironheart, so don't any of you think about touching it. I'm warning you. Oh, wow. You've completely lost it, haven't you? Listen. If you spotted the target, you should have said so. What are you doing here by yourself? So this is what's gotten everybody so riled up. That's what makes us the Ironheart. It's way more impressive than what the rumors say. Hey, how long do you plan on just standing there? Go back to Albion and bring reinforcements or something. Why are you still here? Go! So, it's just the two of us now.
Descendant, do you have something positive to report, finally? Where's the Ironheart now? What? I gave the order for Jeremy to retrieve the Ironheart. I never did that. There must have been a misunderstanding. Nell, did you send those instructions?
I've done no such thing over any official channel, and even unofficially. I have no reason to contact him. Something's not right. Could it be?
Nell, contact Jeremy. Now.
I can't get through to Jeremy. His Deceive has been deactivated, and there's no record of him entering Albion either.
It can't be. Jeremy is still a Descendant, even if he's sometimes led astray. He's a Descendant fighting for humanity who despises the Vulgus with every fiber of his being.
Descendant, I've heard about Jeremy. But there's something I must tell you first. When I came into contact with the energy from the second Ironheart, a new function was restored to my system. It's an algorithm for amplifying the void energy sensory field. An early warning system for detecting colossi that are drawn to the Ironheart. However, perhaps because it was transferred through Jeremy's arcade, which I am not synced with, my operating system is rejecting this function. Even now, alarm bells are ringing. My functions have been interrupted and my system cannot be recalibrated. Descendant, I am in no doubt that a Colossus is heading towards Ingress at this very moment. Please transfer my sensory field amplification algorithm to Seneca. If we can intercept that Colossus and recalibrate my system, Jeremy and the Ironheart can be found. Please, help me, Descendant.
Descendant, is this code related to the Void? This algorithm is sophisticated enough to be applied right away. This is truly incredible. So this is the power of the guide that the Descendants have spoken of. But now is not the time to marvel at it. Based on the results calculated from the amplified sensory field, it seems a powerful Colossus, the Executioner, is heading toward Ingress. As you likely recall from your Descendant training, the blade wielded by the Executioner is a sensitive conductor. If you allow it to power up, it will increase the time you spend in the Void. And the likelihood of failing to intercept the Colossus increases exponentially. Descendant, please proceed with the intercept immediately. You succeeded in intercepting the Executioner. An extraordinary display of skill. If there was a Descendant like you a century ago, I'm certain we would have been able to stop the apocalypse. There are no what-ifs in history, of course. But the apocalypse has left such a deep wound on humanity. Regardless, if we allow ourselves to ponder all of the what-ifs, perhaps things would be better if the Ironhearts had never existed in this world. Every time an Ironheart is uncovered, it's as if the Colossi are awoken and head to Ingress. But ironically, we also need the Ironhearts to stop the Colossi. It is one of the great paradoxes. Descendant, perhaps this is exactly why the ancestors sealed the Ironhearts in vaults. I'm beginning to suspect that perhaps the ancestors hid the Ironhearts away to prevent history repeating itself. We will need extensive preparation for the moment when the third Ironheart is revealed. There is much that I would like to discuss with you, and also with the entity known as the Guide, if possible. However, we do not have the luxury of time right now. HQ is urgently looking for you, Descendant. You should make your way there as quickly as possible.
Ah, Descendant, you're here. Thank you for all your hard work with the Intercept battle. Unfortunately, we need to drag you into another operation before you get a chance to rest. Albion has entered uncharted territory. A Descendant has committed treason. A Descendant. Someone who should have been humanity's beacon of hope. Damn it! How could this have happened? HQ has officially denounced Jeremy as a traitor. A rapid arrest operation is in progress. Enzo received intel from the Guide and was first on the scene. Jeremy is heading towards Echo Swamp. As the enemy's attention is keenly focused on this location, and because of the swampy terrain, deployment of forces on a large scale will be difficult. To make matters worse, we've lost contact with Essimo. He was carrying out another operation in the area. Essimo's support was vital. Enzo won't be able to command and fight by himself. Our lack of manpower is delaying the operation. If we don't hurry, we'll be delivering the Ironheart to the Vulgus on a silver platter after we worked so hard to get it. We must prevent that from happening at all costs. Rules of engagement for Jeremy will be sent separately. If possible, I would like to have him brought back alive. I want to hear what he was thinking as his commander, and why he did what he did. Go after Jeremy, and please, find the Ironheart and bring it back.
All right. We've had some delays, but I'm happy to say we can now restart the pursuit. First things first, as we've lost contact with Essimo, and there are no other Descendants who have the power to handle the battle, we had to suspend the search and blockade construction. I'm afraid we'll need a rescue operation for Essimo. He was deployed here on a mission to destroy a Vulgus facility, and we've lost contact with his unit. If possible, I think searching for Essimo while we continue with the rest of the mission is a good idea. While our operation was delayed, the Vulgus deployed their forces throughout the swamp. We think they sensed something was up with Jeremy. I got impatient, so I took command and attacked. But because the soldiers couldn't receive their orders in time, we nearly experienced heavy losses. After that, Vulgus forces increased and rapid deployment of soldiers wasn't feasible. It seems Jeremy used this to his advantage and went deeper into the swamp. So starting now, we'll be focusing on reconnaissance to expand the search area. If you go on ahead, the soldiers will follow and establish a barricade. This will allow for much wider RK distribution, which will be an advantage in tracking both Jeremy's RK and the Ironheart traces. Regarding Jeremy's defection, the plan is to capture him alive and carry out a detailed interrogation. However, after analyzing the characteristics of the Vulgus DNA and the Kuiper, I think we need to understand Jeremy's motives first, so that we can be 2 steps ahead of him. First off, from the Vulgus DNA collected here, we identified malignant cells, those which have been exposed to void energy. Well, we'd call them malignant cells, but for the Vulgus, they're more of a genetic enhancement. They give them higher bone density and muscle growth. And we've detected high levels of void energy in the Vulgus Kuiper you discovered. To humans, this affected Kuiper is highly contaminated material which cannot be processed and used for any products. But for the Vulgus, it is enhanced Kuiper. Can you see the connection? Both the cells and the Kuiper have been altered as the result of exposure to the void, and both are needed to create enhanced Vulgus. I'm not sure why Jeremy needs them, but I do know where we can find them. The Abandoned Zone. Throughout Ingris's history, it's been identified as the first area to be connected to the Void Dimension, and the worst source of contamination is located in Echo Swamp. That's where we need to go. We can either overtake Jeremy, or at least find traces of him. Huh? Hold on. That's the emergency comm signal. Essimo! Essimo, please respond! Ah, damn it! We've lost contact. That wasn't much to go on. Right now, the only thing we can be sure of is that they're nearby. Actually, this works in our favor. This is our chance to rescue Essimo and track down Jeremy. I'll search for traces of Jeremy and the Ironheart with a guide. Please rescue Essimo and take him to the forward base.
As you know, my mission was to remove the source of the contamination in the abandoned area before it spread to Albion. Where you rescued me, near the pipe there, my unit and I were looking for the source of the contamination connected to that pipe. We were on the verge of finding it. But the soldiers in my unit started getting sick, one by one, from some unknown disease, while the Order of Truth seemed to be getting stronger by the day. You know I have a sensitive nose, right? Well, my soldiers and the enemy smelled the same to me, but their symptoms, how the disease affected them, were the opposite of each other. It doesn't make any sense. Once I figured that out, I didn't just sit on my butt. I mobilized all of my men who were able to move and scoured the nearby area. That's when they turned on me. I knew I shouldn't have pushed them so hard. Jeremy showed up, and you know what that idiot said? Albion considers all of you to be expendable. Follow me, and I'll give you power. Let's take down Albion together. It sounded like a bunch of hogwash. But then he took out the Ironheart. And it was the first time any of us had seen something that had seemed like just a rumor. To be honest, it was also the first time I'd seen the real thing in person. And even I thought it was pretty extraordinary. Though because I'd been connected to the guide from the start, I didn't fall for Jeremy's speech. But when that bastard said what he needed for his plan was nearby, one by one, my men pointed their guns at me. What did Jeremy say it was again? What he needed? That's right, a seed storage. And I knew the source of the contamination was there too. My nose told me. You're planning on going to the seed storage now, aren't you? In that case, focus on finding Jeremy. Destroying the source of the contamination, the seed storage, was my original mission. I'll try and recover, and get back on track with that as soon as possible. I'll make sure to blow up whatever it is Jeremy is trying to get his hands on.
Jeremy has got hold of Vulgus DNA and contaminated Kuiper? Well, the bastard always had a special interest in the Vulgus. He was always praising how much stamina the Vulgus had, their power, their technological prowess, and the possibilities that they unlocked through genetic improvements. I didn't want to discourage him as he was doing useful research into the enemy's capabilities. But I can't deny his obsession made his teammates uneasy. There was an incident where he captured a Vulgus production facility. He argued that Albion also needed to create artificial soldiers. The Colon Counterintelligence Unit investigated his research and seized his records. He was sent to the detention center for a time as a result of what they discovered. He was nearly expelled as a Descendant. Wait. Once he's acquired the Ironheart, there's no reason he won't go ahead with his plan. I wonder if that's why he studied the autopsy report on Alzarok so carefully. He's likely after more than the quantum storage box containing the Ironheart. We need to examine all records involving Jeremy and any of Albion's supplies. All right. Now that I understand the gravity of the situation, you may return to the field. I entrust the capture of Jeremy and secure retrieval of the Ironheart to you.
Okay, I've switched to a public channel as you requested. Now answer our questions.
Hey! Who is this? If it isn't Alpha's little... the Descendants.
We'll be asking the questions, Jeremy. What is your location?
I was just about to thank you guys. I'm inside the seed storage, which you guys so kindly cleaned up for me. Thanks for taking care of the Vulgus. I was able to swipe some highly concentrated Kuiper and organic matter, all because of you.
When did you...
Idiot. Did you forget what I can do as soon as you couldn't see me? There were so many blind spots. Until SMO blew the place up, that is. I don't know why you're all making such a big deal out of this guide. She can't guide anyone. She couldn't even find the Ironheart when it was inside a quantum storage box.
Jeremy, have you thought about surrendering? Think about the lives of the innocent soldiers you've influenced.
Don't you think our bigger concern should be the future of humankind? I'm sick and tired of the incompetence of Albion's military commanders. Actually having the Ironheart, which we worked so hard to get, why are we so fixated on using it on the dimensional wall? Do you really think this fight will end just because we closed it? Even if we stop the Colossi from coming, how do we plan to deal with all of the remaining Vulgus and Ingress? We have more casualties daily than there are new recruits. You think Descendants will make a difference? Huh. Even if we can clear an entire battlefield, do you really think that's enough to turn the tide in this war? You're deluded. Descendants are just as vulnerable as the rest of Albion's soldiers. We're all mortal. And if the Magister's equipment breaks and our arcade runs out, Descendants will be nothing but frail human beings doomed to die. But the Vulgus, they continue to advance even as we speak. The Ironheart makes them even stronger. Humanity needs to be stronger, and I know how. I'll soon show you. Just you wait.
Jeremy? Jeremy! Damn it! There's no way he would have taunted us with an encrypted call that can only be accessed from a short range. I'm positive he's looking for something near the tree. Ah, speak of the devil. She's contacting me now. Kate, I'm receiving. The supplies I sent are the ones seized from an important Vulgus facility. We identified them as being highly likely to be targeted by Jeremy, so we went after them first. There's 3 supply boxes worth.
These are genetic materials used to create Vulgus bodies. If Jeremy wants to emulate the process in the Alzarot report, these are the core materials he'll need. But did you say 3 boxes? Only 2 have been delivered. Was one intercepted by the Vulgus?
What are you talking about, Kate? The delivery speed for Albion supply boxes is too fast to be overtaken by standard transportation. Wait a second. Jeremy. His RK abilities. He might be able to grab a supply box mid-air. Damn it.
Jeremy has everything he now needs. Void energy, highly concentrated Kuiper, Vulgus DNA solution, and the Ironheart. All of these were used by Amon when he created Alzarok.
Are you saying Jeremy is creating a super strong Vulgus that will obey him? I would have expected bigger things from that traitor.
Perhaps, as he already has RK, he may be attempting to fuse his own body with that of a Vulgus, spawning a new being. Those of Esimo's men who were won over by Jeremy were strongly taken by his words, fully believing what he said. However, there is one thing Jeremy hasn't been able to obtain yet. An energy output intense enough to activate the Ironheart. Fortunately, I do not detect any facilities in this swamp with that level of output. However, if there are any colossi remains in this swamp in fairly good condition, they may still retain an immense amount of power. And there would be no need to infiltrate an Albion or Vulgus facility. I suspect the remains are exactly what Jeremy is after.
Jeremy, if you can hear me, respond. Jeremy, don't do anything stupid. If you claim to still be a Descendant, then it is your duty to not let Corell get his hands on the Ironheart. It's not too late to turn yourself in. If you do, we guarantee your safety. Jeremy, respond! We can't wait any longer. Essimo and I will deal with the incoming Vulgus forces. You need to head to the location of Jeremy's signal.
They wouldn't chase us this far, right? Shh. Focus.
What? Are you scared right now? This is nothing.
Descendants. Enzo and Essimo are at the scene. They're trying to get things under control there. Alpha has had to take some leave, but he has received full progress reports for all operations. All that effort to find the Ironheart, only to lose it again. In the past, Alpha had Jeremy court-martialed and sent to the military detention center. But he still had faith in him. He is a Descendant after all. But now, with the second Ironheart, Alpha needs time to recover. Having a discouraged commander can demoralize troops on the front line. Unless we receive special orders, we must carry on with routine missions and await further developments.
HQ, we have detected anomalies in the void, requesting an intercept battle.
Damn it! This isn't a routine mission! Descendant, you better go to Seneca. HQ will try to deal with any unexpected situations.
Descendant, Jeremy's actions caused the remains of the executioner to send a signal into the void. Unstable materials were stimulated by the Ironheart, and I'm sure Jeremy had some void energy in his possession. I think that must have reacted with the Ironheart, sort of like jump-starting it. Dead brides have always been bonded with executioners. I believe this accounts for their immediate reaction to this signal. We don't have much time. Please intercept, Descendant.
Death to the dead bride. I knew you could do it. You seem to have something on your mind, Descendant. Is it about Alpha? I know he doesn't trust me. For my part, I would like to share all the data I have with him, but it's a mystery even to me as to why neither Jeremy nor Alpha can connect with me. I was never granted permissions to configure such things. But one thing I can tell you for certain. I am a code designed to protect Ingress. Descendant, so far I have provided the technology to not only search for Ironhearts, but also to track Colossi. It would be wonderful if you could find the third Ironheart with these technologies and work with Alpha to find a solution. Of course, there are some things that are more important even than that. With that in mind, please go and meet with Luna and Kyle. They seem to have information regarding a new Ironheart. It appears to be highly reliable.
I have so many melodies flowing through my head ever since I met the guide. But it feels like there's something missing. I could feel with my entire being that there was a final piece of the puzzle which would complete my song. But I couldn't figure out where it was. It was driving me crazy. So, I snuck out, without telling Alpha. I was careful not to get caught. I went toward where I felt the puzzle piece was, and eventually I arrived at the Agna Desert. That's when I heard a very loud melody. It reminded me of the one I heard on the day I met the guide. When I approached it to listen closer, I saw a red sphere. As soon as I saw the sphere, the melody was complete, and I felt it flow through my entire body. It was wonderful. But then, you know what happened? I ran into this big clunker here, saying that he'd felt some strange magnetic field or something. And that's when I realized the Ironheart must be there. But then this tin brain started going on about smashing the red sphere open and taking the Ironheart out by himself.
I never said that I would smash it. I only wanted to have a look at it. Stop making things up.
Whatever. Anyway, I had to tell Alpha all about it and came back to Albion on his orders. That's why Alpha is looking for you.
I'm sure that Kyle and Luna told you what they saw, so I'll cut to the chase. Both of them believe that the red sphere in the Agna Desert very likely contains the Ironheart. This is a golden opportunity for us. There's no guarantee that the Ironheart is actually inside the sphere, but it's the best shot we've had so far, and the Magisters agree. I've mobilized a team to investigate the red sphere. That includes you. The excavation team will also be joining you, as they were working in the Agna Desert until recently. I hope this operation secures us an Ironheart. The incident with Jeremy included, we always watch the Ironheart slip through our fingers right before our eyes. If we can't defeat Karel, even with our strategic asset, the Guide, at our disposal, the future of humanity is grim. Good luck.
Well, it's finally time for a proper introduction. My name is Reyna, and I head up the world's best excavation team. Nice to meet you. The Adna Desert. This place is paradise for us on the excavation team. There are so many exciting things to uncover, including the ruins of the ancestors. And the Red Sphere. We've never seen it before, and there are no records of it either. That's why we want to dig into it and figure out what it is ourselves. If the Ironheart really is inside it, it'll be a historic discovery for the excavation team. And that's why I wanted to talk to you, to let you know that I am fully invested in this operation, and I look forward to working with you. See you in the desert.
I heard that this is the last remaining Ironheart. That makes me a little worried, but I'll give this mission my all, regardless. Kyle is doing aerial recon to see if the Vulgus are up to anything. Luna's focusing on sensing the beat generated from the Ironheart, and she's also listening out for the unique noises generated by Vulgus movements, of course. I can see her expression changing. See the way she's frowning? I think that means the Vulgus are on the move. We need to create an environment where she can concentrate. Descendant, take care of him.
Descendant, I don't know if you noticed, but this is also a facility that the ancestors used. If what Luna and Reyna are saying is correct, the data the Vulgus are extracting while underground must be related to the Red Sphere and the Ironheart. It won't be easy to bypass the security system set up by the ancestors, but we shouldn't underestimate Vulgus technology either. Let's hurry. We must stop the enemy before they extract all the data.
Welcome back. Is there anything you want to report? Are you saying that this record was left by the ancestors who tried to use the Ironheart? And an ancient arcane weapon. What were they trying to do with the Ironheart? Were they trying to close the dimensional wall just like we're trying to do now? I don't have time to think about that right now. We'll begin operations to dig up the Red Sphere and break out the Ironheart using the arcane weapon.
Descendant, we will check the safety of the weapon thoroughly, so don't worry. Also, deciphering the composition of the Red Sphere was quite beneficial for us. It allowed us to start immediate production of dismantling materials. We are mass producing them, just in case.
Luna and Reyna are investigating the weapon, so I want you and Kyle to clear out all enemies within the vicinity of the Red Sphere. The arcane weapon and the material to destroy the Red Sphere are both ready. As long as we have no troublemakers impeding our operation, there shouldn't be any problems. We should definitely be able to get the Ironheart first this time.
I can't believe you're taking it easy when we have so little time. We're going to clear the storage in the area nearby first. I know what you're about to say. Alpha ordered us to completely clear the entire area surrounding the Red Sphere. When I was a construction corps leader, we were the first ones working here, along with the Descendants. We built the digger, too. If it weren't for a surprise attack by the Vulgus, the Corps would still be alive. The only thing I'm interested in right now is to have my revenge on those bastards. Don't worry. When I'm done with that, I'll do my best to exterminate any enemies near the Red Sphere. Construction Corps leader Kyle always keeps his promises, you know. That hasn't changed since I've become a Descendant. So trust me, I'll get a read on the enemy's movements from above. I'll let you manage things from the ground. Immature kids like Luna don't understand situations like this. This is about loyalty. The spectral digger here was built when I was in charge of the construction corps. The Vulgus must have realized its power and modified it. I was too weak then. There was nothing I could do. I watched my colleagues fall before my very eyes. One of them begged me to destroy the digger with their last breath. So that's what I'm here to do. I will honor that request and throw this hunk of metal off this cliff. I was actually wandering across the desert on my way to do this from the beginning. Finding the Ironheart was just a coincidence. But this also aligns with our operation goals, as it involves clearing the Vulgus and destroying the enemy facility in this region. It won't interfere with the operation. I'm talking too much. If you're ready, let's go. I almost made a terrible mistake, blinded by revenge. The kid is right. Without the Ironheart, nothing will bring any comfort to the souls of my old colleagues. But if we can find it and use it, that'd make me happy for both my old colleagues and my current teammates. Luna, she's not so bad. But I'll tell her that in person later, so pretend like you didn't hear this. Especially you, Guide. And you too.
As you wish.
Now we should get to our respective positions. I want you to help Reyna while I go see Marcus.
We found something strange when we were looking for traces of the ancient RK weapon. The bones of a giant creature. Given the size of the bones, it must have been as big as Corell's flagship. We've never seen anything like this before. I ran a search on the Albion database, and it came up with a match for an animal called the caligo. Carbon dating results suggest that this caligo is from the same era as the ruins of the ancestors. That makes it the oldest organism ever discovered in Albion. Same thing with this. Carbon dating shows it's from the same period as the ruins of the ancestors that are around here. The excavation team and I think that these bones are somehow closely related to the RK weapon. And they both existed in the same era as the ancestors. Maybe that means something? Maybe the ancestors used them for an experiment or something? I'm sure we can come up with several plausible hypotheses. I think we should also notify your guide, is it? I'll contact HQ and have them send the info to your receive.
Do you remember the bone sample we took from the caligo? A small amount of RK has been detected on it. It's strange. Ancestors aside, how can RK be detected on the bone of some giant organism I have never heard of? I cannot be sure, but there's a good chance that the ancestors used the caligo to test the RK weapon. Based on the data on the caligo that we received through the Isiv, if we estimate its original size based on the size of the bone, its bone density and composition, and assume appropriate muscle mass to support this, its body would be comparable in toughness to that of a colossus. A caligo like that would have been the perfect subject to test a weapon of such immense power. This is only a hypothesis, but it is the only conclusion that I can find when applying the calculations. We will need additional data in order to replace or confirm this.
Welcome back. I've read the report submitted through the Isiv. Only the guide could handle the RK weapon. She didn't know anything about the caligo, but she has access permissions for the RK weapon, which is powerful enough to kill a caligo. It's a little suspicious. But we have a more important matter at hand. We must obtain the Ironheart. Now that we have everything we need, all that's left is to go all out. We've already loaded a tactical armored vehicle with the material to pour over the Red Sphere. But there's a problem. The substance is highly volatile, so Kyle and Luna are escorting it. Carefully. This slows things down, of course. While they're escorting the tactical armored vehicle, I need you to clear out all the Vulgus from the surrounding area. We must create a secure environment to get the vehicle into position.
Once the special material arrives safely, we can move on to the final stage of our operation. When the chemical reaction changes the surface of the Red Sphere, that'll be our chance. We must activate the RK weapon at that moment. Once the Red Sphere is neutralized, we only need a small amount of RK to retrieve the Ironheart. But even though we don't need a lot, Both Luna and Kyle's Arche has been severely depleted. Descendant, you're the only one who can activate the weapon. I know it'll be physically demanding, but it's a critical step to accomplishing our goal.
I need you to focus on the mission more than ever. Go to the Agna Desert and complete the assignment so that the tactical armored vehicle can get into position safely. Let's show those bastards that this victory will be ours.
Oh, seeing you makes me feel like I've finally come back to reality, Descendant. I've never seen anything like this in my entire career. The floating stones only just stopped. They were moving like crazy a minute ago. We can't see the guide, so it gave us quite a scare. Once you clear this area, I will lead the Ironheart excavation from higher ground. I'll also coordinate with you so that the guide can use the Arche weapon too. We're almost there. Let's go. Ready, Descendant? Guess inhaling all that excavation dust was worth it. Recover the Ironheart as soon as Marcus punches a hole in that thing. Marcus, we're ready over here. How about on your end?
All ready, ma'am. Just give us a signal.
All right. Get rid of that hunk of iron.
Just what I was waiting to hear. Lock on target! Fire!
It's all up to you now. Descendant? Descendant! Good job, everyone. Operation complete.
Approaching the third Ironheart. System synchronization process 100%. Everything is fine, Descendant. I can now control this Ironheart. Finally, after everything we've been through, we have obtained the Ironheart. It may only be one of the 3 Ironhearts, but we can still alter the future with it. For instance... Wait. Descendant. This Ironheart. The ancestors have left some encrypted data for me. File type. Inversion technology database. Descendant. How do the ancestors know about inversion? I thought inversion was Vulgus technology. This is beyond comprehension for my analysis system. Not to mention, this database has been protected with a powerful encryption system that can only be unlocked by observing inverted energy. We should take the Ironheart to a safe place for now. Let's hurry and return to Albion. I have something I must tell the Descendants.
Descendant, Devourer is a colossus that hasn't been seen for some time. It was last spotted a decade ago. It's a powerful colossus, which makes it very difficult to defeat. The existence of Devourer in itself is devastating enough. But the biggest issue right now is that it's appeared at a location close to Ingress. If we fail, Ingress will be in great danger. Please, intercept Devourer. You did it. Your actions have saved Ingress from destruction once again. However, the frequency of colossi appearing and moving toward Ingress is increasing. And many of them have been spotted close to Ingress. We need to find a solution for this once and for all. At this rate, Ingress is more likely to be destroyed by the colossi than the Vulgus. To prevent that from happening, we must close the dimensional wall immediately.
I've received the intercept battle results from Seneca. This won't do. Since we have the Ironheart, closing at least one part of the dimensional wall might be a good idea. Everyone, we're going to use the Ironheart at the Albion Prime hands. It's time to fulfill our desire to stop the Colossi. Enzo, prepare to activate the Prime hands.
Affirmative.
Descendant, why don't you go and observe? Since you played a key part in securing the Ironheart, you should experience this glorious moment firsthand. The future of humanity will change from here on out. I'm proud of you.
Descendant, I have a responsibility to guide everyone on the proper use of the Ironheart. As such, I strongly recommend that you delay in using the Ironheart. If we use the Ironheart inside Albion, we may entice all of the Colossi to us. With our discovery of the final Ironheart, all the Ironhearts in Ingress have been exposed. Soon, the Ingress dimension will reach a state of entropy saturation. The energy emitted by the 3 Ironhearts is too great to be circulated naturally. If we close the dimensional wall now, it could disrupt this already strained energy circulation, leading to a greater disaster. The point where the circulation is disrupted will connect to the void dimension, and the location of Ingress will be divulged to all Colossi. Powerful Colossi like Devourer have already appeared. It would be wise to refrain from using the Ironheart now. What if we
Enough! I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. You can disconnect, Enzo. Reactivate the Ironheart in the Prime hands immediately.
Alpha, are you seriously going to go ahead with this? Even after hearing all of that? Please reconsider.
As an executive officer, this whole situation is very confusing. Ever since the Magisters announced the dimension isolation theory, the Ironhearts and the dimensional walls have been the only way to save humanity. But now it looks like the Ironhearts can also bring disaster. This isn't a situation where we can just blindly trust the guide. Countless soldiers have lost their lives, and a huge amount of resources and time have been spent looking for the Ironhearts. We're talking about the hopes of humankind crumbling away here. But if what the guide says is true, We have to re-examine our plan for humanity, as well as reconsider the purpose of the Ironhearts. I thought it would be over once we found the Ironhearts, but things are getting more complicated. Oh, I'm receiving a transmission from Alpha. I think he's looking for you.
But first, I need to speak to you about something, Descendant. I understand the Ironhearts attract Colossi, but that can be solved by closing the dimensional wall. Not using the Ironheart when faced with this possibility is too great a sacrifice for humanity. There has been no bigger threat to us than the Colossi and the Vulgus. For humankind who has lived through such disasters, this is our best chance, and we must bet everything on it. We'll use the Ironheart as planned, however. Taking all opinions into consideration, we have decided to use the Ironheart at a different location, not in Albion. If you're concerned about what the guide said, we'll use the Ironheart somewhere else, away from Albion. Strategically and tactically, we found a good location for it. The White Knight Gulch. So far, prime hands have been found in the following zones: the Albion Mountains, the Hagios Fields, and the White Knight Gulch, the location of the main base of the Order of Truth. Yes, I did say main base, but Vulgus occupation of the White Knight Gulch has declined by 50%, according to the latest reports. That means it's worth a shot. Also, the Vulgus forces have lost a large number of units over the last few decades. Even if we estimate the number of remaining forces to be high, we'll have no trouble defending the area near the prime hands. Descendant, go to the White Knight Gulch and secure the ruins containing the prime hands. Valby and Eugen should still be there. They were sent to investigate Ironheart traces. I'll have them support you.
Hey. HQ filled me in. You're gonna use the Ironheart here, apparently? How annoying. I had charts to write and other things to take care of. When exactly will I be able to look for my troop members? An operation? Oh. How are we gonna get to the prime hands? Well, you can work with Valby and figure that out yourselves. Valby was in charge of battle recon right up until you got here. If I can offer some advice, don't get hurt, please. We're out of everything. Medicine, bandages, my will to live. If I had one wish, it'll be that none of you got hurt. That way, there won't be anything to annoy me. Go catch up with Valby. I'll make preparations as well.
You have to understand, Eugen hasn't had a decent night's sleep ever since we got here. The medical corps unit he was in charge of went missing during combat. An emergency evacuation request came in from the main base of the Order of Truth. Eugen was taking care of some seriously wounded soldiers at the time, so he couldn't do anything. So to help him out, his medical corps unit responded to the request. They didn't take backup, and we lost contact with them. Then the enemy attacked and we were forced to retreat to here. That's how intense this area used to be. But I know HQ has said that the Vulgus presence here has decreased to less than 50% of what it was. That's so strange. Why would they reduce their forces for no reason? Anyway, we should take advantage of the current situation and find our way to the first gate. If enemy forces really have reduced, we should be able to get through the gate without any problems. The prime hands are just beyond it. Did it feel to you like someone or something was watching you during the battle? It definitely feels to me like someone's gaze has fallen on us. Ever since I accessed my abilities with water, I can sense when there's tiny ripples. I'd better spread out through the water and find where that gaze is coming from. I'll ask Eugen to transmit the operation details. Be careful, and listen to Dr. Han.
Ops transmissions. What did I do to deserve this? Still, It was no easy feat to break through the gate, even if the enemy forces have decreased as much as HQ says they have. If you'd been here from the start, maybe my medical unit wouldn't have gone missing. It happened recently. 5 of my medical corps members, all missing. They went out on an emergency evacuation mission, but we lost contact with them. They shouldn't have been sent. None of them have RK. Then the gate was shut, and there was a series of attacks. I didn't have a chance to even think of looking for them. So, as we've been able to get through like this, let's look for signs of my corps members. The ruins are right in front of us anyway, and the Prime Hands aren't going anywhere. The real problem is, how are we gonna clear out the Order of Truth forces from the area? How about we see if we can find where my corps members might be while we take down enemies? No objections, right? Great. I'll transmit those as our operation details. My poor corps members deserve to be found and returned home. They should be discharged from active service too.
Descendant, the Ironheart is waiting to be transported to your location. Equipment and forces are also waiting to be deployed to fortify the ruins. Alpha has been looking forward to this moment. Considering the circumstance that humanity finds itself in, it makes sense. However, Descendant, consider, do you really need to use the Ironheart? If you are in a position where you are unable to object, unless you or the Descendants will it otherwise, I will also follow the will of humanity from this point forward. I was created to serve humanity, and I believe demonstrating the result of using the Ironheart is a helpful part of that. Humans tend to prioritize results over process. If they view a result as a certainty, they will justify the process. Therefore, I consider this current process to be justified. Please take care of the Ironheart, Descendants. I warned you. Seal the dimensional wall and the location of ingress will be exposed. If that is what HQ wished. Then, I hope they learn their lesson from this. Descendant, look here! Stemming the flow of dimensional energy will only attract the attention of the Colossus. The dimensional wall must not be touched. Watch it! It is my role to protect you. Descendants, I did not wish for this to happen. But if I had continued to oppose the use of the Ironheart, any trust you had in me would have been lost. I had no other choice but to wait for the best moment to effectively reveal my purpose. Descendant, can you guess what my purpose may be, and what the final option is? To ensure humanity's survival? When we were first linked, we both said we needed the Ironhearts. That for humankind, an Ironheart was a means to close the dimensional wall. In which case, why would a guide need Ironhearts? To deliver them to humankind? No, Descendants. The reason why I need the Ironhearts is to ensure their destruction. If the dimensional wall is closed, a much bigger cataclysmic event will occur, as you have witnessed. However, so long as the dimensional wall exists, the energy emitted from any Ironheart will always draw entities from other dimensions to Ingress. For humankind and Ingress to truly experience peace, all Ironhearts must be destroyed. This is what the ancestors have passed down to me. The regret of your forebears with the future generation as your only hope. Descendants, now is the time to choose. Please, I hope all of humankind will accept the sacred mission left behind by the ancestors.
Destroying the Ironheart. I'll be honest, it's shocking. I must admit, had I known about this from the start, I would not have used the guide as a strategic asset at all. However, the only reason I'm still calm, even after hearing all of this, is because the operation to close the dimensional wall failed. The enduring wish of humanity was all in vain. Damn it. However, Descendants, the destruction of the Ironheart is not a decision I can make on my own. Have you ever wondered why the Magisters continue to assist humankind? Officially, our alliance with the Magisters has its roots in our fight against a common enemy, the Vulgus. However, there is an inconvenient truth. Something which Albion headquarters has classified as top secret. The Magisters want the Ironhearts for their own purposes. The reason they came to us is because their ambition for the Ironhearts differed from Corell's. Humankind entered into an agreement with the Magisters to receive scientific technology and resources, in exchange for finding and delivering the Ironhearts to them. Closing the dimensional wall was also a common goal, born from the mutual understanding between humankind and the Magisters. But their true aim was entirely different. Which is why, if we destroy the Ironheart without consulting them, we will no longer have the support of the Magisters. Descendants, humanity is in a terrible position where we're unable to survive on our own. Without the Magisters' technology, we can no longer plan for our future. I was afraid we would become dependent upon this new entity, the Guide, when faced with this situation. That is why I rejected the Guide. And all of this is why we cannot immediately destroy the Ironheart. We are caught between a rock and a hard place. I need some time to collect my thoughts. I also need to discuss this with the Council of Magisters. For the time being, please obey Nell's command and proceed with the operation. Until I return, I would like the Descendants to consider this development and the future of humanity. We'll discuss our ultimate decision at a later time.
Descendants, I understand everyone will be feeling very confused right now, myself included. However, in times such as these, we need to focus on operations and prepare for the enemy's counteroffensive directed at the Ironheart. It just so happens that Valby has returned from recon with some promising intel. And since this mission is critical to the White Knight Gulch occupation, I need you to join Valby and Eugen as part of it. In the meantime, the executive officers will assist Albion and Alpha.
There you are. Are you hurt at all? I was wondering if Dr. Han would have to take a look at you first, but thankfully, I see that won't be necessary. Such a shame about the Ironheart and the dimensional wall. To be honest, I was surprised to hear about our relationship with the Magisters. I thought it was an alliance forged against a common enemy, the Vulgus. I'm starting to appreciate what Alpha said about everything having a price. Anyway, it seems the Magisters have already found 1 or 2 Ironhearts to study. That won't be dangerous, will it? Maybe the real danger will be with this operation. While I was tracking the source of the mysterious gaze, I discovered the location of the base of the Order of Truth. Our mission objectives are to infiltrate the base, find out why the Vulgus forces have been decreasing, and strike the core facilities. There are signs of Eugen's missing medical corps members that are connected to the base. We'll be rescuing and extracting them as well. This mission will be a little dangerous, but let's make it a success and keep everyone alive. We can do this. Sorry for suddenly leaving you behind earlier. Dr. Han is really trying, In any case, I think it would be best if we left Eugen to focus on searching for the medical corps members. I don't think he's in the best state to handle any other missions. We should investigate the Order's base and destroy any major facilities. We need to find out why the Vulgus forces have shrunk at such a worryingly fast rate.
Now that everyone's here, I'll tell you what I saw. Underneath this fortress, there is a hatchery that breeds Vulgus soldiers. It's known as the Pool of Life. It's a disgusting Vulgus facility with many horrible uses. During strategy discussions with the Medical Corps, someone once raised the idea of researching the scope of the Vulgus military forces and their estimated losses, as well as how they went about replenishing their forces. The prevailing opinion among the Corps was that since the majority of the Vulgus legions are organic beings, excluding the Legion of Immortality, they would be limited in the number of units they could mobilize. But Captain Glay had a different theory. She thought that as long as the Vulgus had a supply of DNA organic matter, it would be possible for them to create as many organic Vulgus as they wanted. I genuinely hope her theory is incorrect. But the composition of the organic matter we found is a perfect match for the DNA we previously extracted from Vulgus samples. And the cargo boxes filled with this organic matter are connected to the underground. There's a steady flow of them. I believe my Medical Corps members must have learned that there was a Vulgus hatchery here, and attempted to investigate. Regardless, it could be incredibly dangerous down there. And it'd be a waste of resources if you get dragged into this because of my selfish interests. Investigating on my own should be sufficient. It would be best for the rest of you to return to Albion.
But before we go, does something feel strange to you? The Order of Truth, one of the main pillars of the Vulgus army, is under attack. Why haven't any of the other legions shown up to defend it? No matter how far this place is from the other Legion-occupied zones, it's highly suspicious there hasn't been any support. Do you think it's because of the solid defense line our forces built? Although we've deployed a lot of troops to guard the Ironheart, the enemy hasn't taken the opportunity to launch any counterattacks. And we still haven't figured out why the number of Vulgus forces have dropped so rapidly. If they have a hatchery, shouldn't their troops be increasing? Oh, this is giving me a bad feeling in so many ways. It feels like the inside of my suit is boiling. I hope nothing has happened to the Medical Corps members.
Damn it. There's something even bigger underneath the hatchery. Interference has cleared up, and I've located the last comms from the team. There is a very strong Vulgus signal coming from that direction. Damn it. I refuse to let him die in a place like this. They mean too much to me. I promise I'll be on my best behavior. I need your help. My people. Can you help me rescue them?
Feast your eyes upon the road that will lead us home. The time has come. We shall terminate the Descendant's actuality and end my conquest. Remember your final destination. Capture the remaining prime hands. All ironhearts are within range. When the three paths converge into one, my conquest will be complete. Raise your weapons. Drown the enemy in fear. My power will lead you to victory. Kill the Descendants. Kill them all. Kill them all. Take them out. Kill them all. Kill the Descendants. Let's kill them. Load the ironheart onto the ship. Time to go.
I did wonder where all the manufactured Vulgus went, but I never expected them to be battle-ready this quickly. No matter how solid our defense line is at the White Knight Gulch, against a force that large, we won't be able to protect the Ironheart. And because they've divided their forces, Albion is under threat as well. This is why the Vulgus pulled their forces back from the White Knight Gulch. To make us lower our guard, and to lure us into the White Knight Gulch with the Ironheart. We should head back to HQ. I'll take Dr. Han to the medical corps. Don't worry, I don't need any help. When I got him on his feet earlier, he wasn't heavy. He really is just like paper. I could probably carry him around. He's so light. Did you know that Eugen can't use his RK abilities on himself? He sacrifices so much for his teammates, and he can't even heal his own heart. I feel so bad for him. But I know he'll be fine. He has you and me, after all. His partners in arms. Don't worry about him. Let's head back. I'll see you soon. That's a promise.
Descendants, Corell's fleet has begun its approach. The predicted attack targets are the White Knight Gulch, where the Ironheart is located, and Albion. HQ's predictions of the numbers of remaining Vulgus forces have been completely inaccurate. To mass-produce that many troops so quickly. Corell lured us into a false sense of victory, then used that to bring the Ironheart into the Vulgus' orbit. Also, after the phenomenon of the light beams near the Hagios, the dimensional wall has been weakening at an alarming speed. The closure of the dimensional wall and this diametrically opposite phenomenon. This might be due to the inversion that Corell spoke of. We're already seeing the Colossi being affected. Descendants, for now, please prepare for an intercept battle. According to Seneca's report, the pyromaniac Colossi are approaching Ingress. This truly is the worst-case scenario. First Corell's fleet, and now the Colossi? The intercept of the pyromaniac has been confirmed. Job well done, Descendant. However, given the current state of the dimensional wall, we do not know what Colossus will surface the next time, or when. Humankind must choose whether to engage in an all-out pointless war against Corell's great army, or face equally immense colossi, which will appear as soon as the dimensional wall disappears. Strategy, tactics, troop numbers. We're at an overwhelming disadvantage in all aspects. If things continue like this, humanity really will.
As all of you know, the situation we find ourselves in seems pretty dire. Due to my lack of sound judgment, I fell for Corell's trap. The Ironheart, which I considered to be our only hope, turned out not to be the key to our salvation after all. If we had used the Ironheart in Albion as I stubbornly insisted, I dread to think what would have happened. This situation is one I created. I am solely to blame. Yes, I am the Descendant who was always defeated. That is likely why I was never able to link with the Guide. I should never have become Commander. However, if there was someone who could heed the true calling of the Descendants, then I would let go of everything I have believed in up until now, and put my trust in them. Everyone, I am ordering the destruction of the Ironheart. I will deal with the Magisters. I believe they wouldn't be able to survive without us anyway. Descendants, you need to work with the Guide and carry out any and all necessary operations to destroy the Ironheart. No need to wait for approval from HQ. Just make sure you are as victorious in this as you always are. I'm sure that you will be, as you always have been. I place my trust in you, Descendant.
Descendants, we are close to achieving our true target. However, as Alpha said, the situation is dire. We must hurry. First, it would be wise to move the Ironheart in the White Knight Gulch to Albion. Albion has put in place defensive measures to counter Vulgus battleships. We should also be able to access the energy required to destroy the Ironheart. But we need an immense amount of RK to detach an Ironheart which is linked to a Prime Hands. For this reason, most of the Descendants must be sent to aid the detachment. For you, however, I have a different request. Descendant, come with me to where the phenomenon known as the Pillar of Light occurred. When that Pillar of Light took effect, as well as the energy of the Ironheart, I felt a familiar kind of pain, as if my skin was peeling and my flesh was melting. There must be an inverted Ironheart there. Corell would have connected it to a Prime Hands in order to collapse the dimensional wall. We must stop this before the dimensional wall is completely destroyed. We must retrieve the inverted Ironheart. If we fail to do so, even if the Ironheart is immediately moved to Albion, countless colossi will appear throughout Ingress. However, if we take back the inverted Ironheart, the destruction of the dimensional wall will be stopped, and Corell's advance will be delayed. I will deliver the mission to detach the Ironheart to the other Descendants. Please go now, to the place where the Pillar of Light was. I will meet you there, Descendant.
Mind if we skip the pleasantries, since we're short on time? If what the Guide says is true, in order to retrieve the Ironheart that's here, there's something we have to understand first. The entry device to the Hagios Prime Hands was destroyed a long time ago, and neither we nor the Vulgus could gain entry. But now they've just sauntered in there and connected the Ironheart to the Prime Hands. I think this whole thing has something to do with this intel on Eamon. Here.
This is Zachary of the 22nd Recon Squad. A surveillance drone in the Hagios corrupted zone has tracked the movements of the high-ranking Vulgus, Eamon. We're unable to access the data remotely due to our signal being jammed. The surveillance drone needs to be retrieved for the data to be confirmed. Our recon squad has been scattered by a Vulgus attack. Requesting backup.
This communication was received by HQ a few hours ago. Not long after, a pillar of light appeared in Hagios, and Corell's fleet began to move. I think Eamon found something in the corrupted zone that allowed them to enter the ruins. Looks like we need to find Eamon before we can get the Ironheart. Don't you think I'm the best person for that job? With my RK ability? The other Descendants can help with the mission to detach the Ironheart.
HQ, the Descendants have arrived. I repeat, the Descendants have arrived. HQ, do you copy? Ah, damn it. Ah, Descendant. You saved my life back there. I'm Zachary, 22nd Recon Squad member. So, do you know what the hell is going on? Comms have been down the past few days, we've had no backup. And then suddenly Eamon appears, and now there's some strange beam of light shooting down from the sky. I thought the Vulgus were launching an all-out assault and nearly crapped my pants. What? I was right? Well, that's one thing. But the comms... Did you say you only received it a few hours ago? No way. It's been more than 48 hours since I transmitted those comms. I can't believe you've only just received the comms I sent a few days ago. Have you detected the Vulgus jamming your signals at all? Ah, so that's why backup was delayed. And why we weren't getting comms from HQ. So, when we saw reinforcements weren't coming, we had to put together a team of scouts to retrieve the surveillance drone ourselves. We lost many soldiers in the process, and the drone was damaged. I was planning to recover the drone's memory logs and take them directly to HQ. But as you know, we can't use the RK warp device. What do we do now? Is the situation foobar?
Huh. According to the data captured by the drone, Eamon's most recent destination was a naturally formed cave. It doesn't seem to have any tactical value. That being said, there's a high number of Vulgus troops going in and out of the cave. Construction materials and heavy equipment. There's a lot of high-tech equipment being brought in too. They wouldn't be there without a reason. We need to initiate a search operation now. Could you handle the cave? I'll seal off the entrance to stop the enemy getting reinforcements, or retreating. Zachary will cover us from enemy snipers with his scout rifle. We don't have much time. Let's move.
When you get near to the cave, be on guard for the commander-level Vulgus who is stationed there. He's a cyborg Vulgus called Keldir. He's part of a specialized sniper unit that uses anti-matter ammunition. I managed to damage his visual sensors last time I engaged him. But he can still use his auxiliary sensors and sound functions to launch deadly attacks. Fighting him could be a challenge, even for a Descendant. And as for my personal request, well, if you do run into Keldir, I'd like to be the one to finish him. I lost a lot of good men to that piece of crap Vulgus. If I'm not the one to take him out, I'll regret it for the rest of my life.
Descendant, what's the status of the Hagios operation? We haven't received any comms. We were getting worried. What did you say? The recon squad's communication was sent 48 hours ago? That doesn't make any sense. How have the Vulgus developed advanced tech warfare capabilities? Run the details by me again, please? Alright, so Eamon was excavating a phase shift gate in the hidden ruins, and he discovered that the damaged device emitted quantum waves which acted as jamming signals. I see. I understand that he would have taken advantage of such an opportunity. It seems luck is not on our side. If we'd received this report sooner, we could have acted on the information. But at least we have some useful intel, even if it didn't reach us at the right time. If we can find the excavated phase shift gate, we'll still be able to achieve our goal. I'm more concerned with the operation at the White Knight Gulch. It's taking longer to detach the Ironheart than we expected. At this rate, it may not be completed by the time Corell's fleet arrives. We've already had reports of Vulgus forces appearing near to the Gulch. We're running out of time. I wish there was some way that we could turn things around. We'll just have to do the best we can on both fronts for now. Please continue with the operation.
Come on in. Have you eaten? Damn. Jaber sent me the sit rep. Things have really hit the fan. Oh, you asked why I was here. I heard the scouts were having a difficult time of it, so I snuck in to make them a warm meal. A kind of surprise event. But the real surprise was prepared by Corell. God damn it! He seems like someone with no table manners. So no change there. Anyway, the Vulgus passed through this way not long ago with a convoy of cargo trucks loaded up with a ton of stuff. When I tracked the convoy with the scouts, we found some kind of Vulgus forward base. It looked like it had been built in a hurry, but the security was no joke. What's worse, there was a commander-level Vulgus with heavy armor and high-powered weapons. He chased us, the bastard, and when we called for backup, there was no response. We ended up fighting for several days while being totally surrounded when suddenly a beam of light appeared from somewhere near the ruins. Maybe that fat-ass commander was also distracted by the beam of light because he stopped attacking, and we were able to retreat. Just. By the time we managed to regroup, the only ones of us left were Dominic here and me. Had I known what would happen, I would have brought my friends more than just a meal. It was their last supper in the end. Which is why, if you're going to that Vulgus forward base now, you need to let Dominic and me tag along. They flipped the table in front of the chef, and it's time to teach them some real table manners. Also, if you want to prevent them from getting the Ironheart, you're gonna need more people. Dominic will show you the way to the forward base. Let's head there and turn up the heat.
Nice to meet you. My name's Dominic. I'm a scout accompanying Blair. In order to get to the Vulgus forward base, you have to secure this area first, as it's our main route. There's also a number of important additional tasks to do. Blair's already familiar with this terrain. I'll fill him in on the mission separately. You'll need to follow the instructions given by the recon squad. Or what's left of it, anyway, as Zachary and I are the only ones who survived. Anyway, good luck. Oh, by the way, I heard from Zachary. His troops were hit pretty hard, but I heard you took the enemy to task and helped Zachary get his own back. Thanks for that. And Blair, your meal was also very tasty. I feel like I always owe you Descendant something. When this battle is over, I'll buy you a drink in Albion on behalf of my entire team. I promise.
Okay, let's see what we have to do here then. So, we have to locate the phase shift gate that Eamon discovered and analyze it to figure out how it was done. That's easy enough. Jaber and the guide can do the analysis while the infiltration team fight their way into the base and wreak havoc. I want Dominic on higher ground to get eyes on the base and provide sniper support as necessary. I'll head out first. You guys follow me later.
We've detected signs of the quantum energy extracted from the phase shift gate in some electrical equipment. We need to get our hands on that equipment and analyze it to see how the enemy used the quantum energy. Then we should be able to find a way to enter the Prime Hand's ruins. Now that we're here, I'm almost certain it's the right place. The subtle feeling of the Ironheart particles, this pain, and its familiarity. The inverted Ironheart is definitely inside those ruins. But the inversion technology database left by the ancestors is not yet accessible, Descendant. We have no guarantee as to what will happen, nor do we know whether we will be able to control the inverted Ironheart. Based on the data I have collected so far, I will try to come up with as many backup plans as possible. I hope that what we do here will give us the power to strike back, Descendant.
Because you've hit the nail on the head. As Eamon didn't open the gate through any normal means, I figured there'd probably be some lingering consequences. But the gate to access the ruins was more volatile than I anticipated. If we leave it operational, there'll be another quantum pulse explosion, like the one we saw with the abandoned gate at the cave. We have to temporarily stop the energy supply to the gate after the infiltration begins, and reactivate it once the infiltration team completes their operation. Considering the number of Vulgus headed this way, there's no way we can control and defend the gate with just one Descendant. We need 2 or more Descendants to stay here.
Descendant. The inverted ironheart is forcing the dimensional wall to open. If this occurs at all of the prime hands, the dimensional balance will collapse completely. The ironheart must be contained. Watch out! Descendant! Wait. Your arcade is reacting to the inverted. Into your subconscious arcade space. Take heart, Descendant. I am with you. The remaining energy is at 34%. The dimensional wall is stabilizing. Remaining energy at 21%. 16. You're almost there. Remaining energy at 0%. You've done it, Descendant. The Ironheart has been transported to the safest pot. Into the subconscious space of your arcade, where I first met you. However, the Ironheart in your subconscious space can be removed only once. If you attempt to embrace this Ironheart again, your arcade will... This means we have only a single opportunity to convey and destroy the... Do not worry, Descendant. We will prevail. And thanks to the sacrifice you made, Descendant, I was also able to access the Inversion Technology database, which had been sealed. Inversion was a forbidden technology that reversed the entropy of infinite energy composites like the Ironheart and turned them into antimatter. The inverted Ironheart was intended to be a core element as part of a process to reverse the laws of nature. Anti-particle weapons, destruction of the dimensional wall, multi-dimensional space-time connections. I see traces of countless unthinkable plans. According to the development logs, Inversion was created by extremists among the ancestors who were obsessed with using the Ironheart. But it seems the Vulgus somehow obtained this inversion technology. I think the ancestors and the Vulgus were connected in some way, long before I was created. I can find no records as to whether that relationship was one of conflict or cooperation, but there may have been no reason to include that in my files. As you know, I am not here to protect the Ironhearts. I am essentially a track and annihilate program, designed to destroy them and everything about them. And through this recent research, I have become more certain of my role and my mission. Descendant, I have acquired an algorithm to analyze inverted energy and have derived a way to destroy it. My next step is to try and apply this to our current situation. Although we can only extract the inverted ironheart from within RK-1s, theoretically, there may be a faster and more certain way to destroy it than the process we might use for a regular ironheart if we use the properties of antimatter. Wait. There was a minor problem when I tried to activate the phase shift gate. It seems a Colossus has been drawn to the inverted energy. I'm sure we'll hear from Albion soon.
Descendant, I have received reports of your outstanding performance in Hagios, and with our ongoing research into inversion. We believe that swamp walkers were alerted by the inverted energy exposed in Hagios, and began heading toward Ingress's dimension. But they're not only targeting Hagios. They're currently moving toward multiple areas within Ingress. What will you do if one of the swamp walkers approaches Albion? I heard that you have submerged the inverted Ironheart in your arcade. Can you guarantee that they won't be drawn to that energy, Descendant? We cannot always assume a best-case scenario. That kind of carelessness is how humanity was almost totally annihilated a century ago. You are humanity's hope, Descendant. You need to be more proactive.
I see. So the Colossi were heading towards the Vulgus Fortress. If the inversion took place there, it would not be unusual to detect a large amount of energy. No wonder the Colossi were drawn there. Descendant, we can definitely use this to our advantage. According to what we know so far, if we apply the inversion process to the inverted Ironheart, in theory, that Ironheart will be completely destroyed through particle-antiparticle annihilation. This is the fastest and most certain method of destroying the Ironheart that we currently know of. The only drawback is that it will also destroy everything around it. But we can use this to our tactical advantage. If the operation is a success, the Vulgus will have nowhere to return to. Descendant, if you cannot retrieve the Ironheart from the White Knight Gulch, you must make a decision regarding this alternative plan while it is still viable. Please discuss it with HQ. It will be a difficult decision, but everyone will need to be in agreement.
First of all, the Guide's operational plan provides many tactical advantages. The majority of the Vulgus forces have already been dispatched to the White Knight Gulch, and Corel isn't aware of what happened in Hagios, thanks to the long-range jamming signals established by Jaber. If this situation continues, we will be able to lay siege to the fortress, and Corel will be none the wiser. There has never been a more ideal moment to attack the Vulgus fortress since the beginning of this war, and the chance may never come again. However, if our goal is not just to attack, but to destroy an Ironheart, this will not be enough. If we pull back our forces from the White Knight Gulch and behave as if we have another strategy in mind, that should attract Corel's attention. We need a foolproof way to lure them in, much like how Corel ensnared us with the White Knight Gulch operation. In other words, this is a plan that requires someone willing to face death, to act as bait, all while protecting the Ironheart and distracting Corel. I realize I am asking for someone to sacrifice themselves, and as commander, I can't bring myself to give such a merciless order.
Alpha, the Descendants can act as bait. If we deploy an unprecedented number of Descendants to the front, that will be more than enough to distract Corel. Corel's also aware that the Descendants are humanity's last hope, so he's going to relish trying to squash our last stand. The fact that he's approaching slowly, like a dark cloud without warping, that shows that he believes he's already won the war. And with Corel's attention drawn elsewhere, if we send some of the Descendants to the Vulgus Fortress and destroy the Ironheart, we'll be able to turn the tide of war. The manifestation of Arche and Descendants doesn't just mean we have to be powerful weapons. As humanity's last hope, we should sow the seeds of victory. Now, the majority of the Descendants, including me, will engage in battle at the White Knight Gulch to buy some time. While Ajax, his team, and the rest of the Descendants will be deployed to the Vulgus Fortress. Awaiting your approval, Alpha.
It seems everyone has steeled their resolve. Everyone's Arche is glowing. I doubt that even the ancestors anticipated this moment. I'm so happy to have met humans with Arche like yours. Despite my limitations as an AI, I believe I understand what courage is now. All right. Descendant, I'll accompany you to the Vulgus Fortress. We must locate the inversion facility there and overload the Ironheart to destroy it. I know we can do this, Descendant. I will be with you the entire way.
The Vulgus Fortress. We knew such command facilities existed, but we never had any information about their sizes or exact locations. Our terrain scanner never detected them, and as they were deep within Vulgus territory, it was impossible to send any recon squads. Seeing them up close and personal now, they're pretty imposing. If I ever go back to being a military academy professor, I'd like to write a paper about this fortress. But there's no need for us to be intimidated. Once we've destroyed the Ironheart, the tide of war and history will turn in our favor. All right, infiltration team, let's get to it. Our primary goal is to infiltrate where the Vulgus signals are the weakest and locate the source of inverted energy. Unfortunately, the guide can only detect the general energy scattered throughout the area. And because we're in a massive energy field, it's like being lost in fog. It'll be difficult to find the source. So, we need to do reconnaissance around the fortress and gather information about the source of the inverted energy. It's going to be an extremely dangerous mission. Good luck, all of you. The survival of humanity depends on it.
I should never have sent Lepik off by himself. My bad. Hey, these Vulgus punks are responding really quickly. Looks as if their commander isn't to be taken lightly. Let's eliminate the defense forces here first, then secure the gate that leads to the wrecked ship. I really hope Lepik can withstand it until then.
Descendant, the Vulgus ship in front of you appears to have crash-landed on its way to Ingress. The flight log has been completely erased, but the date of when it ends is close to the date when the Vulgus first appeared. What is also important is that this ship was loaded with huge, powerful energy equipment. At first I thought it was the ship's engine or power source, but I soon found that theory to be incorrect. Do you remember when the Hagios Prime Hand's ruins erupted with radiant heat? This ship is similar. The central part has a thick coating that can absorb radiant heat. Such a measure would not have been necessary unless inversion technology was involved. That means that this ship was equipped with an inversion device. Descendant, I believe I know where it might have been installed, if the device has not been destroyed or removed from the ship. I'll send the potential location to your receive. Try looking there, Descendant.
Descendant, thank the heavens your injury is not serious. I received the report from Ajax's team. Honestly, when I first saw that abandoned device, I thought it was all over. But then, we discovered another facility by investigating the first one, an inversion furnace. HQ has also identified a converter outside its typical range through a terrain scan. Perhaps we'll find clues related to the furnace there. No, it has to be there. The only way to turn the tide of this war now is to destroy the Ironheart. We must find the inversion furnace and finish the operation as soon as possible, before Karel realizes. Wait, it's Kyle. Nell, patch him through.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Our troops will arrive in Albion soon. We're systematically withdrawing forces from the front line. Everyone has defended calmly and well, executed the planned retreats, and bought us time. The number of casualties is lower than expected. We're approaching the final moments. We've received a report that Corell has descended from his ship.
Kyle, Marcus and the Investigative Corps are headed your way. Their support should help you hold out a little longer.
I'm grateful to Marcus, but we plan on fighting using only the power of the Descendants from now on. We're here to achieve victory, not take everyone down with us. And it's better to fight as a small group within the Prime Hand's ruins.
Descendants don't have to shoulder the entire burden. If things go south, I want you to give up the Ironheart and retreat immediately.
We can't just end the show when we keep attracting such huge audiences. We'll try to buy as much time as possible. Over and out.
Luna!
All units, I have your missions for this operation. As you know, our goal is to locate the inversion furnace. However, there's something you need to know. The defense commander of this fortress is called Kulan. Kulan is known to have single-handedly defeated multiple colossi. In other words, he can go toe-to-toe with them by himself. Lepik, you and I will protect the team from Kulan. We have to block main routes and secure favorable terrain before he appears. The rest of you, help the guide search for the inversion furnace. Guide, do you have any intel that might be useful?
Descendant, I have finally pinpointed the location of the inversion furnace. The facility is in the basement of Fortress Command. I have detected colossi remains that have been melted by the furnace flowing in that direction. But our enemies have already established a line of defense between here and the command facility. The commander of this fortress must be waiting for us. Descendant, do you think we can break through this Vulgus defense line with the forces we have? I regret pushing you into a corner, but I believe this is the only way.
It's finally come to this. The success of our entire operation depends on this fight. I feel like I did on the day of my first lecture. Nervous. Still, the situation is actually better than that day. It looks like there was a battle that took place when the Colossi appeared, drawn to the inverted energy. The fortress defense system was destroyed, and the key base for the fortress defense forces fell apart. That means, in our current state, we have a good chance of winning. I'm talking too much. All units commence operation to break through the Vulgus defense line. You need to destroy the Vulgus in front of us and push forward to Fortress Command, where the inversion furnace is. Any questions?
Descendant, it seems we've finally made it this far. The last Colossus has been melted in the furnace, and the inversion furnace is ready to be activated. We are also ready to retrieve the Ironheart that was submerged in Arcade. We are waiting on you now, Descendant. We only have one chance to activate the furnace and crush the Ironheart. I believe we can do this. We will destroy the Ironheart together.
Ironheart's location been confirmed?
I cannot detect the energy of the Ironheart in the fortress. Corel, it appears that the Ironheart has been destroyed.
Turn the ship around. We'll put it back.
The Vulgus fleet is retreating. I repeat, the Vulgus fleet is retreating. Command, what's the situation?
We've confirmed there has been a massive explosion at a critical fortress. The Ironheart appears to be destroyed. But I can't locate the Descendant signal. Descendant, please respond. Descendant!
Descendant, can you hear me? The Ironheart has been destroyed. Thank you for believing in me. Now no one can alter the balance of Ingress. However, Ingress still needs you.
Arcade signal detected in the void dimension. This signature is... It is the Descendant's arcade.
Seneca, confirm the coordinates. Engaging emergency transmitter. Initiating transmission. Thank heavens, Descendant. You're okay. I thought we had lost you. Your chance of survival was close to 0%. I think the destruction of the Ironheart forced a connection to the Void. That's why you were sucked into void space. Anyway, I'm very relieved that I'm able to personally deliver this incredible news to you. The operation to destroy the Ironheart was a success. The Vulgus forces at each front are retreating. The fact that they've ceased attacking suggests that Corel must have lost a significant strategic target. After being outmatched at every turn, humankind has finally turned the tide in this war. I'm compiling all operation reports, including for the situation at the White Knight Gulch. All Descendants that were dispatched there are reported to be fine. Alpha will explain in more detail. Please return to HQ. Oh, just a moment. Speaking as myself, and not as an executive officer of HQ, I'd like to personally thank every Descendant. Especially you. You destroyed the Ironheart and prevented an unimaginable crisis. We're all in your debt. Thank you, Descendant, for everything.
Good job, everyone. No. Good job doesn't do it justice. The future of the entire human race depended on this operation. And humankind came together to pull it off. Now, Corel and the Vulgus are retreating. Corel discovered that we had taken the inverted Ironheart and tried to come after us. But he was too late. By then, the heart had already been destroyed. We've achieved this major victory due to your actions, Descendant. I'm very glad that we have all of you and the guides still with us. However, Corel took the Ironheart we used as bait and disappeared without a trace. We're currently using all of our recon assets to search for Corel's flagship, but we do not know what the outcome will be. We have to remember that this war is not over yet. Karel still has 2 Ironhearts. He's probably plotting something even more dangerous as we speak. And there are still Vulgus forces across Ingress. Without a chain of command, they'll be running riot. For now, we're going to focus on our defense at each front and commence an operation to track down Karel's ship and the Ironhearts. Savor this triumph, everyone. Then let's regroup and keep going. From this moment forward, we aim for total victory. I look forward to working together again soon, Descendant.
Many people were willing to sacrifice their lives for the final operation. But your courage was exceptional. You risked your own life and destroyed the Ironheart in my place, even though I am merely an AI. If it weren't for you, humankind would no longer be here. But Descendant, there is something I need you to know for the future. As you know, the Magisters wanted the Ironheart in exchange for the resources and technology that the Magisters provide for humankind. Because we destroyed an Ironheart, the Magisters may threaten humanity due to the breach of that agreement. There may be conflicts with the Magisters in the future, and they may even be less forthcoming with their support. But don't forget, every single one of the Ironhearts must be eliminated from Ingress. As long as you remember that, we can withstand anything that comes. Continue to fulfill your calling as a Descendant and protect the people you love. I will help humanity. I believe in you, Descendant. Your journey is not over yet.
When I located your RK signal in the void, I was very relieved. Losing a descendant such as yourself is like experiencing the apocalypse all over again. I am very pleased to see you again, Descendant. However, the energy generated from the destruction of the Ironheart has sent ripples through the deepest recesses of the void. Unfortunately, this means we're likely to encounter Colossi of a completely different standard in the future. However, I still agree with the decision to destroy the Ironhearts. If all the Ironhearts are completely destroyed, the Colossi would become oblivious to the Ingress dimension. As closing the dimensional wall is pointless now, the Ironhearts must be removed from Ingress. I heard that you have submerged the inverted Ironheart in your arcade. Can you guarantee that they won't be drawn to that energy, Descendant? But the night is darkest just before the dawn. If we can journey through this dark tunnel together, the future of Ingress will be bright. Until that day comes, I hope you will continue to work with me and fight the Colossi intercept battles. As always, I put my faith in your strength and determination, Descendant.
Descendant, I have heard that humankind has triumphed against Karel. Humans have won many battles over the years, but they continue to lose the war. Until now. This victory has helped to completely alter my perspective on humanity and Descendants. Although, you did all destroy the Ironheart. The Council of Magisters won't easily forget the choice made by Albion headquarters. And considering that Magisters are of Vulgus origin, the enemy may be closer than you think. But that's only the stance of the Council of Magisters. Some of the Magisters, myself included, will still root for humanity. I want you to remember that I will continue to stand with you all, despite whatever policy is decreed by the Council. It seems as if you'll need many things from me going forward.